Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab in the wee hours of the morning where I do what I do for you. Today, again, disclosure, Christian family, dedicated Christians, duck down. I got some work to do. I got a question I want to ask you. So let's get this thing started. Just want to get that out the way. It's gonna be a little rough for some of y'all. Right thinkers, yeah. Let's talk about. I'm asking the question: Christians or Paulinians? You tell me. Let's go. Right, it's a 25 rule of their body. Let's get this party started. 25 rule of their body. Storyteller. Story with a message. Message the story for life. And a good message for you today. I keep telling you, you tuning in, the numbers are rising, so I'm going to keep giving it to you. Got a good one for you today. Let's go. Right thinking mission. Yeah, I'm on it. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission as the right thinking master and teacher. I need all my students to end up at the mastery of self, knowing thyself. So let me ask you the question, and you should have an answer for yourself. Know thyself is the question. Got 5 different kinds of people. Let's go through them. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believes that they know dangerous, avoid them. You know how I feel about them. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock. My job is to wake you up. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons, one time or another, reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to Mayat, be true. I worship and praise and give respect to Mayat, and I use her philosophical points of views and principles to live by. It's not a religion, it's a way of life. So, by me fellowshipping with Christians, and I ask the question, are y'all Christians or are you Paulinians? You tell me. I have been getting biblical lessons weekly for over 8 years, every Saturday. And I'm a prayer warrior, so I meet on the prayer line on Wednesday evenings. So I fellowship, I pray with Christian people. Okay? I don't have a problem with that. They don't have a problem with that. We good. That. Now, when I go outside, my Christian family, it's a whole different ball game. So I'm living a mirrored life of Paul. I was a Christian basher when I came enlightened over 30 years ago for those following what I call the well-dressed lie, which is religion. All of them, not just Christians, Muslims, and Jews. All religions are well-dressed lies. It's my opinion. They ain't got to agree, but it's my opinion. I'm entitled. That's what I believe. My nickname from my pastor and friend for over 45 years now is Minister Paul. But he gave it to me for my ministry and teaching how to get to God, which he respects. That's why he gave me Minister Paul. Because for the Christian in that book that y'all study, it's Paul said this, Paul said that, Paul told him this, Paul that. So I just asked the question, y'all Christians or Paulinians? Just have a little joke at y'all's expense, okay? Now, everything in the Bible, the Apostle Paul he said, and he enlightened, educated people to Christ. I don't have a problem with that because when he was ignorant, He was a Christian basher. He was Saul. I know the story. I understand that. But when he had a change and came enlightened, let me break that down to you. He had a change of heart. He became an educator and a teacher of those ignorant of Christ and brought them to God. I'm doing pretty much the same thing my way. So understand that. It's not a knock on y'all, Paulinians. He was a good teacher. He's a good instructor. Obviously, y'all follows his principles. Must be working for you. I understand. I don't teach biblical knowledge of Paul or lessons, but I teach right thinking, aka spiritual truth, to all those who want to learn. I'm not forcing on nobody. I'm not going out in the bullhorn, standing in the corner. I have a platform that I speak from right here in my lab where I do what I do for you. So understand that. Moving on. This is a lesson. Paul was Saul until ding, ding, ding. What happened? Oh, he got enlightened. If y'all would put that part in and let them know that that was the change of heart that Saul had and became Paul and did, all that would be fine. I get it that way. That's how I see it. But I don't hear that. I don't hear the preachers breaking it down that way. But just again, I understand, I comprehend, and I put my spin on it when I want to use it as a teaching tool. That's what I'm doing right now. See, I know the story of Paul, and I know my own life story. And when you make a change in your life, you change how you think, what you do, a complete 180. You don't do a 360, because 360 is when the circle, you're still facing the same way. A 180 is you're going to go that way. Bam. If that way is wrong, then guess what? That way got to be right. You got a choice, that way or that way. But when that happens, that's what it's all about. I was a drug dealer. I sold poison to my loved ones, my family, my enemies, my friends. I didn't care. Now I'm giving spiritual truth and knowledge of self to help my loved one, family members, enemies, again, and friends to better themselves. That's it. So what? Paul became an educator for those who follow Christ. I'm just an educator for those who want to know themselves and get to God without that belief system. I don't do religions. I do spiritual. I give you spiritual truths that you implement them, living for yourself, and you'll know for yourself who He is. After I became spiritually enlightened through what? Hard work, years of perseverance, daily study, and getting better at what I learned and implement it to prove that what I'm doing is right. And guess what? I was rewarded with getting to Him and making my presence known. So now I serve Him. From drug dealing to God's servant. Boy, boy, boy. Paul ain't got nothing on me. Okay. Now, that's life changing. Try it. You might like it. I'm going to give you tools that you need to use to implement that you can change your life. Simple as that. That's what right thinking philosophy is. That's what I do for you. Let's go. The power of spiritual knowledge, watch this, will change you and your name too. I don't go by the name Mark, right? I go by P-Funk because my enlightenment came from funk and the concept of being real, keeping it honest with yourself, and doing the right thing. Well, not always the right thing, but doing your thing. At that time, my thing wasn't the right thing, but I did it, paid for it. But I still believe what I believe to this day. So it worked out fine for me. It worked out fine. Now, watch this. When your heart and mind, aka become spiritually connected, or better known as heart mind coherence, better known as spiritually awakening. The spiritual awakening is when the heart and the mind make that connection. They call it marriage, union, whatever you want to call it, but they become one, synonymous. They're thinking and feeling on the same accord. It's called vibrating at a certain rate, 432 to be exact. All right. Becoming spiritually enlightened is our human birthright. Give it a shot. Work on being your best self. Don't fall for just believing what somebody say. That won't get it done. I know the power of the spirit in us. When it becomes enlightened, when it comes motivated, when it gets the purpose, oh, it's a bad mamma jamma. I'm living off it now. I got high 8, 9 years ago now. I'm still skied up and ain't took nothing but knowledge, understanding, and spiritual living. Okay, I employ my spiritual discipline on a day-to-day basis. Now it's habit forming. Now it's a routine. Now it's a way of life. Paul, watch this. Paul was a right thinker, right thinking master for his time. He did God's work well. He was driven to do when he was ignorant, he followed his ego. He did what he thought was right. He did what he believed was right. When he got enlightened, knocked off his horse, and became a different person, Saul to Paul, eyes opened up. Remember, he was blind for 3 days. All that. Yeah, I know the story, but they was all symbolically telling you he changed. He became awakened. His third eye opened, that spiritual eye, that he became an apostle to teach his followers how to do and be, to worship and get to God through Jesus Christ. I don't have a problem with that at all. Paul made Christians better by what? Teaching them how the Spirit of God works. That changed them. It changed him. So he did the same thing I did. I'm going to teach you. Listen, this this is what did it. Hence, that's how right thinking philosophy was came about. Why? With me having to change of heart, all I want to do is have other people get that same opportunity. Let me finish this up. So they called me Paul. Yeah, I get what Paul means. Watch this. To the followers of the Bible, he was the man. Paul this, Paul that. The Apostle Paul said this. Well, Paul told you to do that. Paul this, Paul. Yeah. I get it. Yes, my pastor, knowing me personally, and Paul biblically gave me the nickname, not on what I used to persecute Christians. I never persecuted him, never came at him, never disrespected his belief. Why? When you have people who are stern in their belief, you don't disrespect them. You respect and understand them. And that's what we've been doing for over 40 years. I was a drug dealer. He was a good man. I became an enlightened being. He's still a good man. That's why I roll with him. Okay? Understand that. If you're doing good, you want to hang out with people that's doing good. I can't go hang out with drug dealers. I ain't my thing no more. I told you, from gunslingers to Bible toters, it's change. Let's go. I don't carry a Bible. My friends do. All right. Personally, yeah, I'm a spiritual master. Why? Because of my experience of becoming spiritually enlightened through the hard work and study and time that I put in to make that happen for myself. That's why. P Funk. Yeah. Yeah. My name fits my opinion about myself. I took the name because what it meant symbolically to me, I can roll with that. Pure real. I'm pure real, aka I'm God-like in the flesh. I keep it real. I know who I am, so I'm good to go. I'm an enlightened being, aka right there. Let's go. Let me wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I do it. No knock on you, just trying to enlighten you and get ask that question. Christians or Paulinians? All right. See, I changed my name. Okay, I did that. Last one. You got to understand. Paul's third eye was open, unbeknownst to him, but that's when you become spiritual enlightened. That's what it is. And if you live right and doing right, you'll never know, but it's going to happen and it hits everybody different. Watch this. Now, our ancients knew how to communicate with their higher self, aka God, by what? Raising their CSF, the cerebral spinal fluid, we call aka the oil or the Christos. Okay? Not Jesus Christos. Not Joshua, whoever you want to call him, but it's the oil that goes up the spinal, the 33 spinal column. Come on, man, that's an old lesson. But yeah, get off the Jesus Christ bandwagon, please. Just a word of advice. Watch this. Paul, being spiritually enlightened from being Saul, became spiritually enlightened and symbolically of being, that's the symbology behind being knocked off his horse. It hit him, bam! Yeah. I didn't get knocked off my horse, but I got knocked off my feet. Matter of fact, I told you it's like a good left hook. Knocked me for a loop. Wow. Yeah. Got me good. Suckered me. That's what happened to Paul. That's the best explanation. I couldn't combine it and use it that an analogy for it to make it understand it so he can use it. All mythological stories, metaphorical concepts are to teach a lesson, not to question if it really was it real. They didn't know. It's a story to get across a message. I tell you stories with messages. Get the message, understand the story, and learn from it and move on. That's what I'm doing. Sorry about that. Let me get this thing out the way. When you open your third eye, sometimes it's a shock to your system. Why? Because you're just living right. You ain't planning it. You ain't looking forward to it. That's why it happens naturally. You can't fake it. You can't steal it. You can't buy it. You got to live it. That's the mystical experience. That's the awakening. Whatever, every generation got a different name for it, but it's still the same thing. You and God becoming connected as one. You know thyself. You know God. Okay. It will affect everybody different. The awakening comes to everybody differently. Mine came in form the voice of Vince Lombardi. Okay, so whatever Paul got knocked off his horse, everybody get a different enlightenment. But the fact is, when you get it, you change. If somebody say, "Oh, I got enlightened," ooh, God talk to me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you still the same dude, you got nothing. Last one, Christians. That well-dressed lie won't open your third eye. It did for Paul, but he didn't practice it. He didn't want to do it. So my point is, the well-dressed lie won't open your third eye. I think the philosophy will. That's what I do for you. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'll be back. You know I got more.